Imagine for a second that you're a new collector when it comes to Blu-rays, movies, all of this stuff. And you see movie covers like this. And you go, where the hell do these things come from? Where can I get these? What is going on here? What's the slipcover? All of that. Well, we're going through my entire Vinegar Syndrome collection here in this video. It's over 100 titles. It's going to be a lot, so strap in, and I'll get to some of the stories behind my love affair with this boutique label for Blu-rays, and some of the first ones I have in my collection, some of the newest ones I have in my collection as well, and give you some recommendations for my favorite out of my Vinegar Syndrome collection. So strap in, let's get to it. As you can see, we got all these monsters off the shelf here. It looks really, really empty. We'll be putting them back on as we go, so let's ride through this. It's going to take a while here, folks. But first off, we've got Alien from LA. This comes with the slipcover. This is just 80s Albert Pune classic here. This has Kathy Ireland. It is just sort of a weird Indiana Jonesy kind of vibe. Archaeologists and gang members. Just a wild movie. If you've ever seen any of Albert Pune's movies, you'll know they're wild, they're insane. Alien from LA is one of those insane movies. If you don't own this one, you need to check it out because Albert Pune, his entire filmography is fantastic, but this movie in particular is awesome. We're going to be doing this as gorilla as we get here, and we've got another Alien, except this time it's Alien Private Eye. This one I purchased because of the cover. A lot of these I've bought because of the cover, because of something, because of the slipcover, whatever it is. And with the alternate cover like that, you also can't pass this up if you are any sort of movie fan out there. And this one comes from 1989, and it is just a wild alien sort of noir, sci-fi-ish, just kind of neo-noir action movie with just like tons of weird, just genre-bending performances, great fight scenes, really nice choreography here, excellent sort of just action cinematography that you'll get with Alien Private Eye, and it's an awesome, fun movie to boot. So, you know, this one, it was on sale for one of their most recent sales. You can get it, grab Alien Private Eye if you can. Here's one of my favorites from Vinegar Syndrome. We've got All American Murder. I've done a review of this, video review, and this is just an American giallo film starring Christopher Walken. It was originally a TV movie, which is insane to think because it's so violent in just what it is. This one is also region-free, so for people out there that don't have a region-free player, you can actually buy this and watch it. All American Murder is just an excellent, excellent sort of American noir. That's the best way I could describe it. It has just an absolutely insane performance from Christopher Walken here. Some really good kills and just music and vibes that you will love. Check out All American Murder. I love this film. It's one of my favorites from Vinegar Syndrome. Next up, we have one that I still haven't watched yet. We have The American Scream, which has an excellent slipcover. The Joke's on You. A lot of these I do have to get to still. I haven't watched all of them. I buy them when I can and when they're on sale. And I actually have this this whole plan to watch a lot of the movies I haven't watched in my collection at random, with a nice little bowl of yellow paper crumpled up so it looks like popcorn with the movies' names on them. But I'll be doing that, and you can bet The American Scream will be on there. From the looks of it, this is a Culture Shock release. I have a lot of Culture Shock stuff in here because they were a part of Vinegar Syndrome and then left, so they had a huge sale on a lot of the Culture Shock releases. This one comes from 1988. It is also region-free, so you can watch it wherever the hell you'd like. And this is just an all-American slasher, it looks like. So check out The American Scream, and I'll let you know when I do check it out, how it is. Next up, we have the Amityville Horror, which was just a pleasant surprise that Vinegar Syndrome got their hands on this, and they did a fantastic job here with the transfer. It is a 4K. It is beautiful. This movie looks like a whole new coat of paint was placed on it, and of course you do get the Blu-ray included here as well. This is just a stone cold classic. If you haven't seen the Amityville Horror, it is the spawn of tons of public domain horrors, tons of house horror movies, tons of everything you can get from the Amityville Horror. Just an insane performance from James Brolin. Margot Kidder is just like on another level in this movie, and it doesn't get much better than this. So the Amityville Horror is an excellent excellent addition to the Vinegar Syndrome library. And following that up, we have the Amityville box set here. This was one of the first things that I bought from Vinegar Syndrome. This was long thought to be out of print, and then one fateful New Year's Day, they found more copies of it. I snapped it up immediately. This comes with all 4 of their releases of Amityville 4, The Evil Escapes, Amityville 1992, Amityville New Generation, and Amityville Dollhouse, all in one package. And the box here is one of the best box sets I've ever seen, and I will ever probably see, because this is just a legendary package here from Vinegar Syndrome. All 4 of these, they range from good to eh. There are some really great ones here. I really like 1992, It's About Time. That's a great one. But all of these movies are at least bare minimum watchable and will entertain you at the very least. And some of them are a little stinkier than others. But the Amityville, the Cursed Collection here, you can get all of these individually. You can't get the box set from them anymore. You'll have to search for that online. But you can get them all individually, at least. They go on sale routinely a lot. So you can pick these up individually. But the box set, love it. Got to have it for your Vinegar Syndrome collection. Back on the box set shelf, that one goes. And then next up, we have the Beastmaster on 4K. And this is your sort of sword and sorcery, muscle-bound action fantasy film. This is region-free from 1982. This was a Don Coscarelli just masterclass on fantasy, sword and sorcery, all of that. And you get just a great job here, a great transfer as well, a beautiful, beautiful transfer of the Beastmaster. You get the Ultra HD Blu-ray, you get the Blu-ray of the original Beastmaster Chronicles, and then the new VFX version. You get 3 discs here. This is well worth your purchase, well worth your time. Just a great sort of out-of-the-box sort of release for Vinegar Syndrome, because they are known for their horror movies, but you do get stuff like this every once in a while. The Beastmaster is awesome. Next up, we have one that I haven't seen. I haven't seen Berserker, and this one I got in one of their many, many sales, because I usually wait until stuff's on sale from them, because it's a little pricey. It's a little pricey, but you're paying for just great work here, great craftsmanship. But the Berserker comes from 1987, a region-free disc as well. I'm going to say that a lot. If you don't have a region-free player at this point, you need to get one, but wherever you are in the world, you can watch Berserker and a lot of other Vinegar Syndrome movies. And Berserker, just from the back, I remember buying this. It's like an animal attack movie almost, or yeah, real-life Berserker who's been somehow transported to the 20th century, or a bear. It's one of those types of movies. Looked like a lot of fun. Still have to watch this one, though. Here's one that's one of my brand new additions to the Vinegar Syndrome library we have going over here. We have Beware Children at Play. This one is so new. In fact, I haven't taken it out of the plastic wrap. I usually take all my movies out of the plastic wrap now to check the discs and all of that, but this one just recently came in. It's from 1989, region-free, once again. So it's about a cannibal that had to eat his dead dad after he stepped in a bear trap when they were out camping, and that's pretty grim, but it looked pretty nice from the back of the box and all of that. I know I espouse don't, buy blind, but a lot of these, when they're like 10, 15 bucks or whatever from Vinegar Syndrome, especially when they're on sale and they're adding to sales and stuff like that, you're getting points now with their points rewards. I do it like video store style. I take a look at the back. I go, that looks awesome. I'm going to buy it, and I can't wait to watch it. So Beware Children at Play. Cannot wait to watch this one as well. Next up, we have one of Vinegar Syndrome's best box sets ever. This is A Blade in the Dark. This is some of their best work that they've ever done. They do snazzy, flashy packaging all the time, but look at this. Just take a look at this. And I know a lot of people do have this box set, but this is just Italian giallo horror at its best. And then there's a hand getting stabbed there. I don't know how long I can show you that for, but it comes with a booklet as well. Put that down there so we can take a look at the booklet. But we've got a booklet with all kinds of essays and pictures and everything from this just absolutely awesome Italian horror movie that got a new coat of paint, a new lease on life here from Vinegar Syndrome, and it's from Lamberto Bava. It's just a fantastic, fantastic Italian horror movie that is just wild. I cannot show you the back of this because there's a pair of boobies on it, but you'll have to see that if you go out and buy it, so go out and buy it. But just A Blade in the Dark, one of the best examples of Italian giallo here from Vinegar Syndrome, so check that out if you haven't already. Lots of pretty colors as well on the box here, but just an ingenious box set design with a blade in the dark. Next up, we have another one that's a relatively recent addition to the collection. We have Blood Delirium, another one I haven't opened yet because I haven't gotten the chance to watch it. But this one is an Italian horror movie as well, comes from 1988, region free. Once again, I'm going to say that a lot. But here we go. Here's the cover and the slip cover. And a deranged and manic painter believes he's the reincarnation of Vincent van Gogh. When his beautiful wife dies unexpectedly, Simon suffers an emotional breakdown and insists that his necrophiliac butler, Herman, recover her corpse from the cemetery and bring it back to his castle to retain his creativity. Just looks like an insane Italian slasher movie. Got this one on sale and can't wait to watch this one as well. It might go good with A Blade in the Dark. Here's one that I do love. I do love me some Bloody New Year. I love me some horror movies that are about holidays that aren't like Halloween, you know, just anything other than Halloween. I love Halloween, of course, but these ones really, these New Year sort of party-ish vibe movies that you get, especially with this one from 1986. And it just, it's an old hotel that's stuck in time, and so you get that sort of wrinkle in it as well. Just some good performances here and some good effects, and just a really good mid-80s slasher flick. If you're in the mood for that, for something that you need that's not a Halloween movie, that's a holiday theme, you got it with Bloody New Year. Here's one we've got, Buried Alive, and this one is another great one with the slip cover here, and this one comes from 1989. It is Region A locked, but this one is just a fantastic sort of slasher whodunit, sort of monsterish vibe, about a school that's under investigation when this chick moves in, and Bloody New Year didn't agree with me there, but we've got Buried Alive. Just another really fun one with a really good transfer as well. Some great effects here. So check out Buried Alive if you like that kind of sort of monstery slasher, new person in town sort of horror movie. Here we go. We've got a little bit of a run of movies. These are some of the first movies I've ever bought from Vinegar Syndrome. We've got The Caller with Malcolm McDowell and Madeline Smith. And this one is from 1987. And this one just is Malcolm McDowell at his, it's an earlier career movie for him, but you can see he's going to be something special, something great with acting here with The Caller. And it's just one of those like When a Stranger Calls types movies, except something weird's happening in the woods next door as well. And you get all of that wrapped up into this one thing, and an excellent performance from Malcolm McDowell. So if you haven't seen The Caller, this one, I'm not sure if it's still in print from Vinegar Syndrome. If it is, go pick it up. And it's just one of their best and one of my favorites from their sort of couple of years ago run. Here we've got one. We've got a creature feature, The Cellar. This one is pretty terrifying. The monster looks pretty goddamn good in it. There's the cover as well. This one's from 1980. What is it? 89. Region free. Kevin Tenney. Just a very good monster flick. A very just great looking monster here as well. You can see it here on the back a bit. I don't want to spoil it for you, but that is just a great looking monster on the back there. And it's just Kevin Tenney, if you like his style, if you like Night of the Demons and stuff like that, you will like this movie. So check out The Cellar. Here we've got a weird one. I didn't like this one as much as I probably should have, but we've got Creature, and this one is obviously an Alien. I don't like saying rip-off, but it's an Alien rip-off. It's from, let's see, 1985, and it does have Klaus Kinski in it as... It's a weird movie. I couldn't get into it as much as I would have liked, but if you're into some of these weird sort of mid-80s, early 80s, creature features, sort of alien-ish films, you might like Creature. I didn't like it as much as I probably should have. Next up, we have one of my, also another new edition here. It's still in the shrink wrap because I just got it recently. I know MVD Entertainment's putting out a 4K of this, so I was pretty disappointed to find that out as soon as I bought this. But this is like Brad Pitt's like second or third movie, or maybe it's his first. I don't know. It's somewhere in there. But early career Brad Pitt, Roddy McDowell, Revenge of the Nerds meets a slasher movie kind of vibe here. And it's just, it looked great to me, so I can't wait to watch Cutting Class, but we'll have to wait to watch it until after this video. Next, we've got another one that's relatively brand new because it's still in the shrink wrap. We've got Curfew. I have not watched this one yet. Got it in their most recent sale. It's from 1989. It's a New World Pictures film, and it just looked like a whole lot of fun. It's this home invasion drama slasher kind of vibe here. In by 10, dead by 12, says the the tagline here. So another one that I wanted to get that was on sale for their most recent sale. So Curfew looked like a whole lot of fun. Trust me, this isn't all just stuff I've recently got. This is just, you know, the C's here. But we have Cyber Vengeance, another one that I recently got. This is my only sort of complaint about Vinegar Syndrome boxes, is some of these I will not be opening the top slipcover because they are like this. And these are really, really tight slip boxes or whatever. And if you try to put it back on, it gets caught at the top here, and you have to like jam your thumb and try to massage it in, and it just kind of, it feels like I'm ruining the case. So Cyber Vengeance, one that I will be not taking out of the box a whole lot here to watch, but it is from 1995, and just some high concept action sequences filled with ever-changing locations and time periods. It does star Robert Davi from Maniac Cop 2, so really excited to watch Cyber Vengeance and see just how good this one is. Here we've got another one of the first ones I bought. That is Dark Tower. I got this one a couple of years ago, and this one is just completely awesome. It is just a nice monster-ish sort of flick with just supernatural elements and shockers, stuff like that, and just an awesome movie if you haven't seen Dark Tower. Just some great creature effects, great artwork, great cinematography here, some pretty good performances as well. Just all wrapped into this sort of wild film that you'll get with Dark Tower. So if you haven't seen Dark Tower, go check that one out and buy it. I don't know if it's in print still or not, but if you can get it, go grab it. Here's a Stone Cold classic. We've got Dead Heat, and this one, you can't keep a good cop dead. Dead Heat, the 4K with Treat Williams, R.I.P., and Joe Piscopo. This is, if you like those 80s buddy cop movies and you wish they had horror elements to them, you'll get that with Dead Heat and some comedy here. Just the 1988 classic from Mark Goldblatt. Just, it has Vincent Price in it as well. It's just, this is a zombie cop, buddy cop movie, if you want to call it that. Awesome action, really funny. Treat Williams is just excellent, as he always was. That's just a terrible loss for all of us in the film community, that we don't get to enjoy Treat Williams because, you know, people can't have good things. But Treat Williams, R.I.P., and go watch Dead Heat in his name. Here's one of my favorites, Death Wish 2. This was just another surprise that Vinegar Syndrome got this from MGM, but this is from 1982. This movie is just mean-spirited as hell. It continues off from Death Wish 1, with Charles Bronson now in Los Angeles, trying to basically get the guys who put his daughter into this weird, like, comatose, but she's walking around state. You gotta watch this one. The cop from Death Wish 1, the lame, stupid, just, like, completely so lame that it makes it so that it's not lame cop is back. Charles Bronson just straight up savaging people. Just a great action movie from the early 80s here. Really mean-spirited, really nasty and dirty, but Death Wish 2 on 4K, it looks beautiful. Here's another one we've got. If you like The Running Man, you'll like Death Row Game Show, and it's very much the same sort of vibe with inmates competing against each other for a chance to beat the executioner so that they won't die. And just a lot of fun, a lot of Running Man, but with more horror elements and more violence, even though Running Man's pretty violent here. But Death Row Game Show, this is a nice piece of 80s camp that you will love if you go and buy it. Just recently went out of print, but you can still pick this one up. Here's one that I got, and I have not seen Devil Rider. It's from 1991. It is a culture shock release, but look at that cover. That cover is just awesome looking, and it's sort of western-y horror vibes here, with a new 2K scan of the original camera negatives, and then it also has the VHS cut of Devil Rider. So I love these sort of horror mixed with another genre sort of vibes, and Devil Rider does that with westerns. Here we have Devil Story, which is sort of one of the strangest films in my library here, one of the strangest films in the Vinegar Syndrome library from 1986. It is just almost indescribable. It is really that hard to describe. It just, like, if I can tell you what you are expecting out of this film, you might not expect it, and just the gore here is ratcheted up to the top, and it is just one of the goriest films of the 80s. If you have not seen Devil's Story, I can't describe it very well because it's indescribable. But it has a lot of gore, a lot of great effects. So if you want to see Devil's Story, check it out at Vinegar Syndrome. Here we have one that I have not seen that I recently picked up. That is the Devonsville Terror. And this one is from 1983, and it is witchcraft theme horror movie here. It does star Donald Pleasance is in this one. So I picked it up because Donald Pleasance was in it, because I love Donald Pleasance, one of my favorite actors ever, one of John Carpenter's, best sort of partners in crime. And it just it felt like a nice little superstitious sort of horror-y vibe here. Great cover as well. So the Devonsville Terror. Can't wait to watch that one so I can finish up my sort of Donald Pleasance, not collection, but Donald Pleasance, horror movie run. Here we have Drop Dead Fred. This is a Blu-ray, not a 4K, pardon me. It does have the late Rick Mayall and Phoebe Cates in it for 80s fans out there, especially of Fast Times at Ridgemont High. But this is a great sort of comedy, weird, off-the-wall, like, I don't even know how to describe Drop Dead Fred. It does have Carrie Fisher and Tim Matheson in it as well from 1991. And just, it's about this girl refinding her imaginary friend and the weird stuff that goes on with that. So if you like that kind of vibe and you like Rick Mayall, you'll like Drop Dead Fred. I really enjoyed this one. I had my first watch of it a little while ago. Here we have one that was a little bit controversial. I have not watched this one because it is still in the shrink wrap. It is the 4K of effects. This one was a bit controversial for outside reasons, not based on the movie. It is a movie that the people that were making Dawn of the Dead basically decided to get together and make a movie. Tom Savini's in it. A lot of the people from Dawn of the Dead are in this movie. And just man, how do I describe it? They put this up on their website sort of out of the blue, and then there was an error with the amount of copies that were available. So people saw the low amount of copies that were available and went crazy trying to buy it, and then they put more copies up because they were like, oh, it was a mistake that there was, that number was there. That's what happened with effects, and so, it looked pretty good. I love Tom Savini and everything, so I bought it, but we'll have to see with this one. Here we've got the 11th Commandment, and this one is just sort of a nice religious, horror-ish slasher soap opera, whatever, from 1987. That it has Dick Sargent from Bewitched. It's always a good thing, but this is a sort of trashy slasher film, like from the late 80s, and it's about this Uncle Charles guy who tries to con somebody out of their inheritance, his nephew. So check out the 11th Commandment if you like sort of those trashy 80s, late 80s horror sort of slasher movies here. It's unrated as well. Here we have another one that I have not seen, The Evil Laugh. And this one I've heard is less horror movie and more comedy. And so I was kind of interested because it does look like a nice sort of horror movie on the front. Looks like a nice classic horror cover, but from what I've heard, this is more comedy than anything. So I do love me some horror comedy, so we'll have to check out Evil Laugh at some point in the future. Oh boy, here we've got one of the first Billy Blank's sort of kung fu action movies here, and we've got Expect No Mercy. This one is just a wild ride of great just fight scenes and action and just Billy Blanks. If you just remember Billy Blanks as the guy from Tybo when you were in elementary school, you're missing out because he's an excellent action star, kicking ass all over the place here in Expect No Mercy. If you like those kind of sort of mid 90s action direct-to-video stuff, Expect No Mercy is for you. Billy Blanks just destroys people in this movie. Here we've got with the special scratch-off slipcover. I've got the other slipcover somewhere around here, but we've got Fatal Games. This was a very hyped up one, and this one is one that I wanted to watch for a long time. It is a sort of college-themed, sporting-themed slasher film, and that just sounds like the bee's knees to me. I loved Fatal Games. I loved this movie so much. It was so good. It's awesome to get this sort of themed slipcover with it as well. So if you want a slasher movie that's not like the normal sort of slasher vibes, you got to go for Killer Games. Here we've got one that was pretty scary. We've got The Fear with a nice cover, nice effects here as well from 1995. And this is, it has a rare acting role from Wes Craven. Wes Craven is in this for a little bit, but it is just a terrifying cabin in the woods film with this creepy ass monster on the cover. If you like these kind of movies, these kind of cabin in the woodsy, creepy mid-90s movies, you will love The Fear. Here we've got one I can't show you the cover of, but it is Flesh Eater. This is the unofficial sequel to Night of the Living Dead from, what is his name? Oh no, I forgot his name. Bill Hinsman. Bill Hinsman did this, and this is just a really violent zombie movie. So if you do, if you're wondering and you're sitting there going, oh well, Night of the Living Dead isn't that violent, this kicks it up a notch. This is really, really violent, really, really bloody. Just if you're looking for a more mature, Romero grew up sort of movie, Flesh Eater is where it's at. Okay, here we go. We've got Freeway. This is Kiefer Sutherland and an early Reese Witherspoon from 1996, having been hauled off to jail, and just, oh man, it's kind of eerie how Kiefer Sutherland sort of evolves in this film, and he gets under your skin, and it's just a nice trap that's a modern take on Little Red Riding Hood. So it is a girl going from somewhere to her grandmother's house and meeting the big bad wolf, but Freeway is excellent, and it's a great performance from both Reese Witherspoon and Kiefer Sutherland. And this 4K, the transfer is all over the top awesome. Reading through some of these, we've got Frightmare. I haven't seen this one, but from that cover, it just looked awesome and just sort of necromantic sort of vibes here, I guess. It does come from Trauma, but I have not seen this one, and it looked awesome, so that's why I picked it up. Here's one of the main events of my collection. This is one of my favorite titles I own. This is the 4K of From Beyond. This is Stuart Gordon's H.P. Lovecraft classic with Barbara Crampton and Jeffrey Combs, and it was long out of print because it was available from Scream Factory, and that Blu-ray was out of print, but boy, man, Vinegar Syndrome knocked it out of the park with this release. This is one of their best 4K releases ever. Comes with a documentary on here that's like an hour and a half long. It is worth the price of admission alone, by itself. It doesn't even need to come with the movie. It is worth it. It just updates the picture so well. This is a great movie. If you haven't seen it, and you love Stuart Gordon, or you love Reanimator, the H.P. Lovecraft kind of stuff, watch From Beyond. You will not be disappointed. Here's another one I haven't watched. It's Girlfriend from Hell. A lot of these Culture Shock ones, I'm going to sit down and do a Culture Shock marathon, because I haven't watched this one, and it looked awesome. This sort of, late 80s sort of comedy horror vibes here. And then we've got Girl School Screamers. I have not seen this one as well, but I picked it up because obviously it looked like right up my alley, with a nice slasher of an all-girls college, and just the back here looks like, there's some schoolgirls and some bloody everything. It looked great. It looked good to me, so that's why I bought it, but I have not watched Girl School Screamers. Here's another one. There's those sort of holiday-themed horror movies. We've got Graduation Day, and this one is one of the weirdest backs to a Vinegar Syndrome release as well, because it's not like the normal back that they always do. This one does come from Trauma as well, but this one is just a excellent sort of graduating class horror movie slasher. If you haven't seen this one, go check it out. Here's one that was one of the first ones I bought as well. I bought a couple of them in the same batch, but that's Grave Secrets. And this one does come from 1989, and it is veteran genre film producer's first directorial debut in Donald P. Borchers. This one is all about somebody who suffered a terrible car accident and recovers at a bed and breakfast where they realize that something is a little off about this whole thing, and something is watching them. And so this is just a great evil monster sort of creature feature that you can get into, with just an annoying ass box to get back on, but also an excellent. So this is what I'm talking about with this box. Like, look, you can see it's getting caught on everything. And I wish Vinegar Syndrome would not do this for every release, but there we go. We finally got it back together. Here's one that I was looking forward to. We've got Guest House Paradiso. This is Rick Mayall and Adrian Edmondson. It has Vincent Cassell in it as well. It's all about this sort of funny little bed and breakfast that they run. If you haven't seen this one, it has one of the grossest, longest projectile vomiting scenes on film. Go check out Guest House Paradiso. I loved it. It was hilarious. You need to go check it out as well. And it's just a weird movie. If you like the young ones or stuff like that, you will love this. We've got Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse Rock. I love these sort of double feature here from Scream Factory. Vinegar Syndrome. I love Trick or Treat. It's not out on 4K or Blu-ray yet, and so I was out there looking for some hard rockin', heavy metal sort of horror movies, and you get two of them here with Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse Rock. I did like Slaughterhouse Rock a little bit better than Hard Rock Zombies, but they're both pretty damn good, and if you love hard rock, heavy metal, all of that kind of vibe from the 80s, you will love both of these movies, and you get two movies for the price of one, so that's pretty awesome with Hard Rock Zombies and Slaughterhouse Rock. Oh, here's one I bought early on because it has Rowdy Roddy Piper in it. I didn't get it with the original slipcover, but I got it with the new one that they got, this weirdo sort of avant-garde thing. And this is, if you love They Live, if you love Rowdy Roddy Piper, Hell Comes to Frogtown is right up your alley. It is just action, gonzo, monsters, everything you could want out of an 80s action movie. And it has the late Roddy Piper in it, just chewing up scenery. So Hell Comes to Frogtown, awesome, awesome movie. Here's one of my recent ones I have not watched. It is Hellmaster, but it looked pretty awesome. It looked kind of Hellraiser-y almost, but it has John Saxon in it, and John Saxon's the man. So if you see a horror movie with John Saxon in it, you kind of got to buy it, you kind of got to watch it. I still have to watch Hellmaster. Here we've got Hobgoblins, a weirdo sort of late 80s sort of Critters, Gremlins sort of style movie that it does have. It's a Mystery Science 3000. You might have seen this on there as well. If they go through it, it's not a fantastic movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a fun movie, and it is a bit stupid and all of that. The creatures here look pretty good, though. You can see the hobgoblins there, but this one pretty worth a purchase, especially if you like Gremlins or Critters or anything like that. Here's one. I love me some Edgar Allan Poe. This is House of Usher, and this is an adaptation of The Fall of the House of Usher, and this is it's a bit horror-y mixed with drama, mixed with everything, but it is a really good Poe adaptation. And obviously The Fall of the House of the Usher, the Mike Flanagan series, is a lot better if you haven't seen that, but House of Usher, a really good movie from Vinegar Syndrome. Here's one that if you've been on the last drive-in, they showed this. This is Ice Cream Man. This has Clint Howard. This is just a weird, wild, violent, gross movie about an evil ice cream man. So if that's something that interests you, and I think if we're watching this channel and you're watching a video about Vinegar Syndrome, you will enjoy Ice Cream Man because it is as wild as it comes. Lots of great stories from this. If you watch the last drive-in special on this, you'll get a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, but Ice Cream Man, really, really fun movie. Here we've got In the Cold of the Night, and this one is it's sort of a slashery, De Palma kind of vibe, neo-noir, just like a very strange movie, but it also, it's incredibly enthralling in the way that it works with, and it also has Tippi Hedren in it. It has some great cinematography as well. It's just a sort of Skinamax kind of before porn became like everything about OnlyFans and all that, and before, you know, you change the channel when it would change from Cinemax to Skinamax, they'd probably show this. But from 1990, In the Cold of the Night, a really wild sort of De Palma-y movie. Speaking of Reanimator, we've got The Immortalizer, which is basically a Reanimator ripoff here almost. It's not as good as Reanimator, not as funny, not as sort of punchy and everything, but The Immortalizer from 1989, you know, at a time where we only had one Reanimator sequel, this is still pretty damn fun, pretty damn entertaining. Also some pretty good creature effects here, some pretty good effects in general. So check out The Immortalizer if you're into that Reanimator sort of vibe. Here's one I have not seen, and that is Incubus, and this one is from 1981. It's one of those early sort of horror movies, still with sort of that 70s style in it, I guess, but it does have John Cassavetes and John Ireland in it, so I can't wait to watch this one because I do love me some John Cassavetes, but it looks like it's sort of a more thinking man's horror movie. So if you've seen Incubus, let me know what you think of it. Here we've got one that I cannot show you as well that was also a bit controversial. We've got the lenticular slipcover here for The Invisible Maniac. And this one was a controversy because of the fact that they did it as an April Fool's joke. I bought an invisible slipcover. It was just a hand holding nothing on their website. Paid, what was it, $5 or $10 or whatever. They gave me a $10 reward back, so it was a free slipcover. But A lot of people were mad about that at Vinegar Syndrome, so they made sure to tell them, like, oh, hey, this is, going forward, this is what we're going to be doing. But this is a weirdo, just sort of, this is the 4K of it as well. Slasher, just kind of sleazy, gross, like it's a teacher, a guy that goes crazy and finds out a way to actually turn himself invisible. The performances are range from awful to usable, but the scenes where people are fighting an invisible enemy are pretty fun to watch. It's a pretty fun one if you're ever into the mood for some sleaze from the 80s, The Invisible Maniac. Here we've got Jack Frost, and this one I remember seeing on shelves when I was a kid and just thinking, what the heck is that? That looks terrifying. And it's a pretty wild one from 1996. It does have Shannon Elizabeth in it for those American Pie fans out there, but this one is... it's about an evil snowman that comes around. It was capitalizing on, other Jack Frost, other snowman type movies. There's Santa's Sleigh with Goldberg also. But it's a nice holiday-themed horror movie for those people out there that want it. Jack Frost, an excellent one to watch in the wintertime. Here we've got one of my newest ones. We've got Last Gasp, which I have not opened yet. And this one stars Robert Patrick, and it has just a sort of real estate developer trying to capitalize on Native American land, or Mexican native tribe, pardon me, and just a private detective starts investigating murders and everything. It had Robert Patrick, so I was like, screw it, I'll buy it because I love Robert Patrick. But this one looked really interesting. It looked awesome, and pray you never hear it. That Last Gasp. Here we've got one that I also can't show you the cover of. It's The Laughing Dead, and this one is all about sort of travelers going for Aztec ruins. You could watch it with a double feature with Last Gasp, actually, but sort of a Thai-born filmmaker making their version of The Evil Dead almost. And this is it. This is from 1989, and it is just wild and crazy and bloody and disgusting and gross and everything you can imagine from a movie like this. And if you like that kind of stuff, you will love The Laughing Dead. Here we've got Memorial Valley Massacre, which is about sort of this barbarian going around killing people. This one was pretty fun. It was not anything super special, but it was fun with just, somebody trying to find a killer, and the killer is this crazy guy with an axe, sort of brutal, tribal, violent kind of guy, and just a fun, albeit kind of middling slasher movie. Oh man, it's Miami Connection. I heard all the soundtrack from Miami Connection before I saw the movie. I saw the movie, and it is even better than the soundtrack. This is just... if you have friends, get this movie, watch it together with them. You will be clapping and whooping and yelling. I can't imagine going to a screening of this right now because it would be such a fun time. But Miami Connection, the story behind Miami Connection is even more interesting than the movie somehow, but it's a great soundtrack, great kung fu action 80s just gonzo insanity put on film, and that's Miami Connection. And just a great story as well, how this got found out through obscurity from the 80s, and now it is a beloved action classic. So Miami Connection, so glad to have this one, and you should own this as well. Here's a new one. This is Mutant Hunt. This one looked really, really fun from Vinegar Syndrome with some fantastic effects there on the creatures. It comes from Orion Pictures from 1987, and this is just like sort of Terminator-y. You can tell from the front here, obviously, that looks very Terminator-y there, but just awesome effects with robots and cyborgs and all of that kind of stuff thrown in. And Mutant Hunt, just a really fun one if you're into those sort of, copycat 80s action films. You will love Mutant Hunt. Here we've got Night Ripper, which is one I have not seen yet, and this one is from Culture Shock as well. It's strange how I haven't watched a lot of these, but this one looks like it's a crazy shot on video, I don't even know, slasher stalking the city. There's some naked mannequins and stuff in the pictures here, but Night Ripper looked like an awesome time from Culture Shock. Here we've got Night Owl, which is one of John Leguizamo's first performances, first acting jobs here. And this one was a pretty interesting one. It wasn't super great, but it's a vampire, post-punk, apocalyptic, just film here. And it's just gritty and there's not too many vampire movies from the 90s that you can sink your teeth into. But like, this one, it has that sort of noirish vibe that you don't get from a lot of those early 90s films because the era was so bombastic and everything like that. But it's more subdued, and so you get that from Night Owl. Very sort of near darkish almost for vampires, if you're into that. Not super westerny, but very that kind of vibe. Here's one that's awesome from the cover right there. Night Beast. Great creature effects here as well from 1982. An early sort of... God, Night Owl just jumped off the friggin' shelf over there. But 1982, great creature effects here. A meteor shower just lands, and then it's the Night Beast with a ray gun and all of that. Very, 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 very sort of weird and funny almost, but Night Beast, if you love creature features, you will love this one. We've got Nothing Underneath and Too Beautiful to Die, another double feature here as well. And one of these has, let's see, one of them it has Donald Pleasance, and that is Nothing Underneath, which I have not seen. I have seen Too Beautiful to Die, which is weird because the main event here is Nothing Underneath. I don't know, I guess I popped it in and wanted to watch Too Beautiful to Die based on the back cover here. But Too Beautiful to Die is about models that are, it's a slasher movie involving models and everything, and it's just another Italian sort of awesome horror vibes there. I still have to watch Nothing Underneath, and you know, Donald Pleasance-a-thon might be coming soon, but this these double features are awesome. They don't do these very often. But here's another one of the batch of the first ones that I bought. It's Perfect Strangers. I remember going on the Vinegar Syndrome website right when I started figuring out about who they were, and I was just going based on covers, and I was like, well, that looks awesome. I love every vibe of that pink with the 80s vibe, and then a knife behind the chick's back and all of that. This one from 1984, just a stylish sort of neo-noir slasher almost. Just a great, great cinematography and everything in this. Just really beautiful looking film, really nice transfer. And Perfect Strangers, if you're into that sort of neo-noirish slasher, femme fatale kind of vibes, you will love Perfect Strangers. Here's another one, another Pledge Night. This is a sort of college slasher from 1988. Really, really bloody, really, really gross, but just an excellent, excellent, fun sort of vibe here. And obviously the hand holding the banana and everything. Ha, ha, ha. But this one is great. It also has Anthrax's Joey Belladonna in it. So go figure. If you love Anthrax, you love heavy metal, you got to check out Pledge Night. Really fun time for those people that like slasher college movies. Here we have a box set. I have not watched The Prophecy 2 or 3, but I have watched The Prophecy. This is Christopher Walken, you know, not masterpiece, but a Christopher Walken series that is pretty damn good. This is the 4K box set as well from Vinegar Syndrome's deal with Paramount. But The Prophecy, just a sort of awesome late 90s horror franchise that you don't get to see a whole lot these days with stuff like this, just because, you know, all the horror franchises these days are Blumhouse or, you know, remakes, reboots, whatever you want to do, whatever your sort of vibe is. But it's Christopher Walken as a bad guy and Christopher Walken, the angel of evil here. And, you know, you can't get much better than that. And if you haven't seen The Prophecy, check it out. It's a great little horror series. 2 and 3 I haven't seen yet, but, you know, if they're anything like the first one, excellent movies. Here we have one I have not watched, and that is Red Surf. But this one looked like an awesome time just based on the cover. A nice action film here. It does have George Clooney in it, which is crazy to see George Clooney after all the stuff he's done now. That's so dramatic. But this is from 1989. It does have Gene Simmons as well, so I think I might have to pop that one in one of these days because that looks like an awesome time with Gene Simmons and friggin' George Clooney. Yeah, sign my ass up. Here's one of the last ones of that early batch that I bought. That is Rest in Pieces, and this is an excellent cover here. This is from 1987. Just a sort of family Knives Out before Knives Out slasher horror vibe, Spanish horror, and it's just grotesque. The gore effects here are awesome. It was award nominated for the gore and all of that. Just dry humor as well. Rest in Pieces. It's a little bit of a mashup of a bunch of stuff, but you will enjoy it if you watch it. This is the main event of my Vinegar Syndrome collection. This is Roadhouse on 4K. This might be my most prized Blu-ray possession. I love Roadhouse. Roadhouse is one of my favorite movies ever. It is a comfort movie for me. It is just a masterpiece of a film. And I don't say that facetiously. I say that legitimately. This movie is perfect in almost every single way. It is just singularly entertaining. Patrick Swayze is just... It is so sad that we lost Patrick Swayze so goddamn early, because I feel like we had so much more with him in this later stage of his career, but we get at least some great stuff in Roadhouse here, and this package and everything from Vinegar Syndrome is just stunning. Beautiful artwork, beautiful transfer for the 4K, tons of extras, lovingly crafted, put together in the Vinegar Syndrome packaging. And if you haven't seen Roadhouse, like, if you take one thing from this video, it is go watch Roadhouse, because it is one of the best action movies of the 80s. It'll cheer you up if you are in a funk. If you are in need of some fun, good vibes, please go watch Roadhouse. And it's more than just the stupid Family Guy joke. It is a great movie with Sam Elliott and Patrick Swayze. Go check it out. Here's another one I was super excited to get, Rush Week. The trailer looked awesome. Everything looked awesome. And I saw the movie, and it was not as awesome as I would have liked. They showed a lot of the awesome scenes in the trailer, and then it kind of fell a little bit flat for me, and I was disappointed. I was really disappointed, because I wanted this to be really good. I wanted it to be like Revenge of the Nerds or like Night of the Creeps or something like that, where you get this like college sort of sex comedy vibe, but with slasher stuff. And I didn't get that with Rush Week. It was just kind of a blah slasher. You might enjoy it a little bit more than I did, but I was disappointed by Rush Week. Here's one I have not watched, and that is Savage Harvest. This was one that I got in the recent sale here. This is from Saturn's Core, but this is a sub-label for Vinegar Syndrome. Just a shot on film, or shot on tape film, pardon me. Some really interesting effects there. Looks like they did it in somebody's backyard. But if you've seen Savage Harvest, let me know what you think of it. But I bought this one based on the cover and the story behind it, and shot on video stuff. I love that. Here's another great one. We got Shallow Grave, and this one comes from 1984. A spring break sort of movie where a cop covers up his crimes with this group of teenagers, adult college students going through. Really suspenseful, like really just, you'd think it would be like sort of like sexy on the road slasher, but it's really suspenseful, really scary, sort of puts you on the edge of your seat really, really, really well. And just Shallow Grave, I was surprised by this. I really was. I thought this was going to be, whatever, we'll pop it on. But Shallow Grave, a really suspenseful film. Here we've got another double feature that was part of that sort of hard rock, heavy metal vibe I was going for. We got Slashdance and Hollywood's New Blood. Hollywood's New Blood is the special feature on here. It is only 77 minutes. It's from 1989 from Culture Shock. Slashdance is great. I have not caught Hollywood's New Blood as yet, but Slashdance, if you can tell by the cover, you know why we bought this one, to watch it. But Save the Last Dance for Hell. That just sold me on it, and it was just a perverted stage manager. There's these twin brothers, or weird brothers that run an old theater, and it's just kind of a detective, and it's kind of that sexy sort of vibe that you can get. It's pretty silly, but just a nice little slasher movie, so I still have to watch Hollywood's New Blood, but Slashdance, well worth this double feature. Here's one. I did watch this one finally. We have Slaughterhouse, and it is about as ugly and gross as this guy on the front here, but from 1987, and just hulking backwoods kind of vibe of a slasher movie. Really, really great sort of gross effects. Just really gross movie in general. It'll make you feel like you need to take a shower after you watch it. But Slaughterhouse, well worth watching. And the cover here, Buddy has an axe to grind. So just a really, you want to take a shower after you watch this one. But Slaughterhouse was really fun. Here's a recent purchase. I have not watched Snapshot, but this one looked great. It's from 1979. So it does have that sort of late 70s horror vibe where it's really suspenseful, thrilling. But it's from the director of Quigley Down Under. Go figure. That's a great Western if you haven't seen Quigley Down Under, by the way. But it has a soundtrack from Brian May as well. So go figure on that. But Snapshot, I really can't wait to watch this one. We've got the last pile here. We've got Splatter University from 1984. Another sort of escaped madman slasher college movie here. Just no budget here. No budget at all. So don't go into it expecting anything like that's crazy as effects-wise, but it's just, it does the most with what it's got. And Splatter University, not amazing by any stretch, but a really fun, entertaining sort of slasher Splatter University movie. Here's one that's a pretty notorious one, that is Spookies from 1985. And just based on the cover alone, you know, obviously, it is a pretty crazy, just bizarre 80s horror flick that I know was a big fan favorite, a big cult favorite. But Spookies, it was, you know, the creatures in it are pretty nice, but it's a little funny, it's a little wacky, a little kooky, but like, not amazing, not great, but a fun sort of creature feature here from the mid-80s that also has, you know, a hot blonde lady on the cover. Here we've got one from Culture Shock that I have seen, and that is Streets of Death. And this is a shot-on-tape, sort of sleaze, just gross, filthy, nasty movie. Just lots of sex and violence. It's about sex workers getting murdered in Los Angeles. And police trying to catch people. A John that's, you know, trying to work together with them, another former detective, or just some random guys. It's a lot to jumble in here, but a very sleazy, sort of gross, nasty, slashery movie. But Streets of Death, oh, that's upside down because the check on the back is upside down. But just a very nasty, gross sort of slasher movie. Here we've got another new release, or new addition to my collection. We've got Six String Samurai, which I was interested in. Looked like an awesome sort of rockabilly, samurai, post-apocalyptic, whatever else you want to say, kind of vibe. And it's one of these Vinegar Syndrome special editions, so I wanted to get the special edition of it because it looked like a movie that was definitely up my alley. Have not watched this one yet. I saw a couple reviews of it, but the reviews all state that the movie looks like $1 million, and it was not filmed for $1 million. So Six String Samurai from 1998 looked like, you know, road movie right up my alley with sort of all these various effects and all of that. So we'll have to see how Six String Samurai turns out, but if it's got a dude dressed as Buddy Holly with a katana, I'm probably gonna like it. Got two, we'll just do them together because they're both Billy Blank's action films here. Talons of the Eagle, which I did a short about, and TC 2000, both of which in that pain in the ass box, so I'm not going to pull them out. But both of these are just Billy Blank's kicking ass, taking names, just excellent kung fu 90s vibe movies. If you love this type of stuff, you get it here. You get some really great choreographed fighting in both TC 2000 and Talons of the Eagle. I like TC 2000 a bit more. It's a bit sillier. It's a bit crazier. But both of these, excellent additions. Excellent kung fu sort of vibes that you can get. Oh, we've got another box set here. And we've got Televised Terror. One of these has Dennis Quaid. One of them has Are You Alone in the House? Or Are You in the House Alone? Calendar Girl Murders and Child in the Night. One of them has Elijah Wood's film debut. These are just excellent sort of made-for-TV movies. Out of the bunch of them, Calendar Girl Murders is one of my favorites, but they're all pretty good. I hope that they do more in this series, this box. This is volume 1, but I hope they do more because these box sets also look great and everything like that, but it's just a nice package to get all these movies together in one place. Oh, this is another main event. This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I was insanely excited to get this 4K in my collection because I do have the Arrow Video Blu-ray. I don't have the Scream Factory Blu-ray because it's out of print and really expensive, but this came out and just blew my mind. I did not know that this movie could look this good. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 with a pile of extras. One of the best transfers you will ever see. Just a wild difference in the tone of this movie compared to the tone of the first one. And Dennis Hopper is just maniacal in this movie. Insane, crazy movie. Caroline Williams is also awesome. Great final girl. Just an excellent slasher sequel overall. This is how you do it, folks. This is how you do it. If you want to make a sequel and you don't want to do the same movie, you go balls to the wall like Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Here we've got Through the Fire, which I have not seen. I have to check this one out as well still. This is from 1988. Looks like some pretty good creature or some pretty good effects here about a satanic sort of cult, satanic sect that's trying to bring upon hell on earth. So Stuff like that, I love it. I love those sort of The Omen, The Exorcist, all that kind of stuff. It seems like a little bit sillier than that. But Through the Fire looks awesome. Oh boy, here's another one in this sort of ultra awesome packaging. This is Ticks from 1993. And this one is a crazy creature feature with Clint Howard. It has Alfonso Ribeiro. It has Rosalind Allen, Seth Green, just an extended version. It's from Brian Usna as a producer. Just awesome creature effects. Really just stunning. Like, I have no idea how this movie is not bigger than it is, that it doesn't have massive amount of fans based on just the vibes of it. It feels a lot like the Blob remake almost, but it is just a wild and crazy creature effect feature here, and this 4K is stunning. If you love those sort of vibe movies from the early 90s, Ticks is for you. Here we've got Video Murders. This was actually the first one from Culture Shock that I watched, and it is from 1988. It just is a very weird, slashery, shot on video, just about a guy who likes to strangle prostitutes. I don't know. It's a weirdo movie, but it is a nice watch. It's a fun watch, and if you're into that sort of sleaze, you can watch Video Murders. Here's one I haven't watched. As James Hong. It is The Vineyard, and this from 1989. It has James Hong, and I love him from Big Trouble in Little China and all the other movies he's been in, because he's an excellent, excellent actor, wonderful dude. And just, it's set at a vineyard, so I grew up on vineyards as a kid. So I figured, okay, if it's a horror movie on vineyards, I probably have some horror stories to tell, so we'll have to watch this one. Second to last here, we have their late night classics from Culture Shock. We have Virgin High and Hot Under the Collar. I love Revenge of the Nerds. I love these sort of 80s sex comedies, and this was two of them in one package. It was Virgin High and Hot Under the Collar. This has the feature films and the special features here. Both of these are just sort of sexy, really funny, just kind of what you're looking for if you're into that kind of thing. Those 80s sex comedies and people trying to, you know, get laid, basically, and making funny things out of it. That's what you get with these two movies. Great addition. This one's out of print, I think, as well, but I think you can still find copies of it for pretty cheap. We have the coolest looking Blu-ray I have in my collection. That is the WNUF Halloween Special. I love this. It is one of my favorite things to watch around the holidays. They painstakingly recreated one of those like old local news broadcasts, even with like terrible commercials that might play a little too much during the thing, but just painstakingly recreated an old broadcast that you found on a tape from 1987. And it looks like an old tape box here, and that is the WNUF Halloween Special. An excellent, excellent release. I still have to watch the second one, the Super Mega Fun Tape or whatever it's called, but WNUF, one of my Halloween traditions now. Oh, so my voice is going out. That was the Vinegar Syndrome Collection. That is all of my titles in my collection. Do you have a big Vinegar Syndrome collection? Let me know in the comments below what your favorite thing you might have seen here is, what I might need to add to my collection, because there's plenty of movies that they come out with all the time I'm still adding because I love how they operate. They operate as film historians, film preservation, and they put out a kick-ass product. So if you love Vinegar Syndrome, go check out their website, go give them a buy. And if you like more videos like this, check out these tips right here to help you with your Blu-ray collection so you can get stuff like this for way cheaper and save money.